And good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, and I'm HR Passion Guy. Hello, Audrey Roberson. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you will click share. Audrey is joining us on Facebook, and we're also live via Restream on LinkedIn Live, on Twitch TV, on YouTube events, on Facebook Live, of course, on the Marcus R. Holmes page and the Love and Stuff community, and on Instagram on IG Live. So if you're across any of those platforms or all of them, if you will click share and tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, followers, or connections, and 5 of your more popular ones to join us in the conversation. On LinkedIn, I see Tanjum Rahman has joined us. Thank you so much. I hope you will click share and tag some folks to join us really quickly as we have a special guest who's going to be with us briefly today, sharing something that I think every person that's busy can enjoy. Joy Pascal, thank you, cousin, on Facebook has joined us. And I hope you will click share and tag some folks to join us. Anybody that's busy in life, I've got a great guest coming up in just a moment who will share some things that you can put to practice today. We're talking a lot about self-care. And I want to share with everybody around this self-care concept that it's important that you care for you, that while you are caring for your companies, caring for your teams, caring for your churches, caring for family members that might need support on their health and wellness, you must care for you. And so a part of the self-care consideration is understanding that you are worthy of the care that's required to make your life the best life. And I had the opportunity I had the opportunity to, I'm sorry, our guest is having a little challenge getting in. I had the opportunity to hear a great speaker in the space yesterday talking about moments of reflection. And we're going to share a little bit of that a little later. So you don't want to leave. Don't touch that dial, as they would say. Don't click that button, except to click share. All right. So I'm trying to get my person in so we can get him going. He has a busy schedule, and he's got something special, specially geared for busy persons. So will you join me in clicking share, tagging some folks to join us if you think that anybody could use any tips on self-care? This is Mental Health Awareness Month, but I want to also not only talk about mind and body, I want to mind and soul, rather. I want to also talk a little bit about body. And that's why I've invited our guest. He has some quick tips that can help you if you veered off course a little bit to get back on course. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for those good vibes. I appreciate it. And we're just awaiting him to pop in and join us in one moment. Okay. All right. I think we're seconds away from having him join us. All right. I hope we did this. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So whether you are on LinkedIn Live, and I'm just going to make sure that we connected on LinkedIn there, whether you are on Facebook Live, Twitch TV, we're so glad that you have joined us. And I hope that you will drop in the comments where you are and whether or not you have a self-care regimen. How do you care for yourself? What is your self-care regimen? All right. Got a couple folks watching with us on LinkedIn. Okay. All right. I got Jaquan Newsome here with me. He made it. Hey there, sir. How are you?
It was good. I had a little technical difficulties, but we're good. Feeling good.
I'm so glad to have you. And I know I was just telling our listening audience as they're coming in, they want to click share and tag some folks to join us because this is going to be our opening brief segment. And I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy person and a busy person for busy people. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jaquan Newsome, and the work that you do.
Yes, for sure. Well, thanks for having me on Passion Fridays. I love this, man. People are living their passion, doing this every single week. It's definitely not easy, so I know how it is. So I appreciate you having me on. First off, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. My company is called Be Fit Nominal. A lot of my clients are just the average everyday person, and I'm really trying to have them become their phenomenal self. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So are you born and reared in Phoenix, Arizona?
In rear?
Born and raised.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I am born and raised in Phoenix, and my parents are born and raised in Phoenix. You actually don't even see that a lot in Arizona. Arizona's
Right,
like a melting pot. You see people from like
right.
all over, but I'm a Phoenician born and raised, and
Wow.
yeah, I've been doing this fitness thing for the last 10 years. When I went to ASU for kinesiology and been, yeah, long backstory. I'll keep it brief, but yeah.
Wow. I said that because I've only been there once, but beautiful weather was, of course, very hot. It was in May and it must have been in the hundreds then, but I
Uh,
enjoyed it. So I hadn't really met people that have been born and raised or reared there. So that's good.
yeah,
Second generation Phoenician. Okay, fantastic. And
second
so
generation.
you do this Be Fit Nominal. I love that. Tell us
Mhm.
about Be Fit Nominal and then walk us through these 3 tips. I saw that people can put into place right now because I'm trying to get people to think about their self-care, mind, body, and soul. And here we are with the body component of that. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So, we want me to go for the tips first? All right.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll hop right into tips. So, Be Phenomenal is right now it's a remote company that helps a lot of busy executives get into ideal shape. So I know you're asking me, do we work with regular individuals? We do, but we mainly focus on the person who has like a lot of my clients are like CEOs. I work with like the CEO of Jack in the Box or the president of Special Olympics. You don't have to be on a super high level, but if you have a busy job or have like kids and you just don't have a lot of time, but you're trying to get in
Mhm,
ideal shape, I want to give
mhm.
you some tips on this Passion Friday to just help you out. And
Okay.
I actually did a video. I sent Marcus, and he wanted me to share it on here. So I want to share my 3 tips if you're watching this, or if you're watching on the restream. Um, one of the tip number one. So if you're all right, you're like, man, I only got 2 hours, to do anything. I got a crazy job. I got kids at home. The first thing I want you to do is to stop and just think about your habits because we all
Okay.
have some bad habits that we can clear up. It's whether
Mhm,
it's drinking your calories, you know what I mean?
mhm,
Or whether it's, man, I'm eating too late at night and I'm just kind
mhm,
of snacking too much. So everybody reaches out, and especially being in the fitness and health industry, people want to know like, should I do keto? Should I do paleo? Should I do these type of diets? Or what do you
mhm,
think about intermittent fasting? Now, my answer
mhm,
to that is like every diet can be good, but the main thing is be consistency. So the
mhm.
first thing I want you to do is just focus on your bad habits first, and then you'll see immediate wins. So do that first. So whatever it is, it might be different in each person. If I can
Mhm.
ask you, Marcus, what do you think will be one of your bad habits? Like if you know everyone has
Yeah, Jaquan, you caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that. But
it.
one
Yeah,
I guess I'm a foodie. So one of my bad habits is what you described. I might not have a breakfast. I might have a piece of banana nut bread, but that dinner is probably going to be a bigger meal than it should be, right? Because I haven't had a lunch or, so I might have one too large meal.
yeah, yeah. So that's one of the things that you want to stop first.
Mhm,
And then
mhm,
from there, the next thing I want you to do is a really easy thing that we can do to implement into our daily life is to focus
mhm,
on our NEAT. So many people are like, even if you don't have time to go to the gym or to actually do anything, so what is a
mhm,
NEAT? It is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So it's a really fancy word to say like the things that you're not doing while exercising. So
mhm,
a lot of people work from home nowadays because of COVID or they're on a computer. You can stand up while you're doing it. You can be walking around, doing extra dishes, getting your extra steps in. I try to give my clients at least 7 to 10,000 steps a day, and that can help you burn the calories. So a lot of extra things that you can do in your NEAT. So think about it. Can I go up? Can I walk the dog the extra time? Can I go mow my lawn? Can I, whatever it is. So focus on your NEAT, focus on your bad habits first. And the last tip is once you're ready, I want you to find a professional who can work with you in your lifestyle. The problem I see a lot with professionals is that they're like, all right, I'm gonna sign up for a gym. Busy professionals. I'm gonna go sign up for a gym, and it doesn't really last long term because it's like,
mhm,
all right, I got to go meet them at this time, or it's a lot of scheduling conflicts. So you need to
mhm,
find something that works for your schedule that you can
mhm,
just fit it into your day. A lot of clients one of my clients is a Tempe mayor, and literally we work out for like 15 to 20 minutes per day because he just like having two full-time jobs being a mayor. So it only takes 15, 20 minutes. So you can find something you could do at home or at the gym really quick. And then you want to work more effective than more time, use your time. So I got a lot of tips on my page. So you can go check those out. But I just wanted to share those two. I still have some time, a little bit of time right now if you have any other questions. Sure.
So on the NEAT, the number two, so you talked about, standing up and walking while, having walking meetings, in remote situations, that might be a little difficult unless you do it via phone and walking, right? With the computer, that might be difficult, but just getting movement and standing up and moving around, I think is what you're saying, as much that you can do to move around helps to accomplish that NEAT. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. Like another example is a lot of people are on the phones. So if you're not on Zoom, like if you're taking phone calls, you don't have to like sit down. You can maybe walk around while you're taking the phone call. In between meetings, all right, instead of just kind of sitting here relaxing, let me go, clean the house, or let me go wash the dishes, or do little things in between. Sometimes I had a client and she had 4 kids and she has a business, and she was just, all right, I'm gonna do a couple squats in between my little work sessions, and then I'm gonna go, you know what I mean? So it's little pockets that you can find in your day that you can use for your need. Yeah.
Okay. And then that third one, finding that fitness professional, where would you suggest that people look? Should they look on LinkedIn? Where would you suggest that people look?
Yeah. If you're watching this live, you can definitely reach out to me. That's one of the things, but I never want to toot my own horn. So look at LinkedIn. You can look in different areas, but look online. I would suggest actually an online trainer rather than an in-person trainer, because a lot of people actually think like in-person is so much better. You can come, you can help me with my reps and all that stuff. But if you're traveling, if you have a busy schedule, you need something that's going to fit around your lifestyle. So you need someone that can go with you wherever you're at. So I definitely suggest that.
And I was going to ask you that related to online, these different devices, the Peloton and other things are coming out. Do you recommend people try those? And should people do steps 1 and 2 first before going to 3?
You know what? Yes, I definitely think you should try step 1 and 2. Step 1, fix those bad habits first. Try to clean up whatever it is. If you're eating late at night, if you're eating too much junk. And then number 2, try the NEAT before you go out and buy a Peloton or a Mirror or a Tonal. Those things are good. They definitely work. But if you focus on your nutrition, you focus on your NEAT and focus on that first, you don't necessarily need to buy a $3,000 bike that you can put in your house that might collect dust.
Yeah. Got it. That's great information. And so the video is on your page. I'm going to try to see if I can share it in this live before we go at some other point a little bit later. But where can people follow you? Just LinkedIn? Do you have a website? How can they contact you?
Yeah, for sure. You can find me on LinkedIn at Jaquan Newsome. Also, I'm on YouTube. I post videos every single week on Wednesday and Friday. A ton of tips. So if you want tips for the gym, for at home, bunch of free tips on there. Look at Be Fit Nominal, all one word, on YouTube. And you'll have a bunch of tips there that you can actually go check that out. And also, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, I'm all over. So Jaquan Newsome or Be Fit Nominal, you can find me.
Wonderful. Well, I know you got to go, but Jaquan Newsome, thank you so much for coming. Be Fit Nominal. Follow him for more quick tips. YouTube, he says Wednesdays and Fridays. He's on Facebook, he's on LinkedIn. And if you need a personal online trainer, here's a guy who is doing it big with the mayors and CEOs, but maybe has some room and schedule for busy professionals like you. Thank you, Jaquan, for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me on. Good luck with everything. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, that was Jaquan Newsome. I'm so excited that he was able to be with us. Busy guy, and he's, as you can see, is a rep for or trainer for busy executives, CEOs, mayors in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And so, if you're interested in an online fitness person, you should reach out to him. And I think he gave us some great tips, some of which I intend to use, especially the number 1, which is those habits. And what a great segue those habits are to sharing with you a little bit about this self-care, right? Because that's what we're talking about as we think about mental health awareness. I want to expand that to say that your self-care is mind, body, and soul. And sometimes they are interrelated, right? What you're doing to your body impacts your mind, right? What you're doing to nourish your soul impacts your mental health. And so all of these things are important. And I hope that you will take them to heart and get yourself on a self-care journey, starting with these 3 tips for the body, right? But as you may know, being in our collective, we have a book, The Gratefulness Journey Every Day. And in the Gratefulness Journey Every Day, we talk about 3 simple practices that emerged from my personal journey through loss. These 3 simple practices can help you to have a more grateful life. And in the book, I think it outlines a little bit about the self-care that I want you to start to consider when you're thinking of mental health. I had the privilege to sit in yesterday on a wonderful presentation from a trainer of leaders who talked about leaders and people building in reflection points throughout their day. And I see that as an important part of self-care that you should do, whether you are a CEO, a leader, an employee, an entrepreneur, whatever station you find yourself in life. If you're the CEO of your home, right? You're a stay-at-home mom. If you're a college student, if you're getting ready to go to graduate school, wherever you are in station in your life, self-care is important. How you nourish your mind, body, and soul is very important. And so in the Gratefulness Journey Everyday book on page 60, it talks a little bit about some things that I want you to consider. And of course, I'd love for you to have the book. But there is a chart that this book raises about failures, gains, blessings, and lessons, right? And in the book on page 60, I write, if you like notes or signs, here are a few that you can write down or have printed, because in this part of the book, we're talking about sustaining new habits. And so that first thing that we're talking about, eating better, or as you heard Jaquan touch on, drinking less alcohol is what he says in the video, drinking less alcohol, cutting your consumption of certain types of things, and, doing things a lot more moderately, including having regular meals. Try that, busy people. Here are some of the things that you could do to help sustain a new habit. Okay. My intentions are in the right place. So I think you have to ask yourself, when you are not having success at your diet, are your intentions in the right place? Do you set intentions about what you eat and what you put in your body, what you put in your mind, what you put in your soul? You have to set an affirmation to say, my intentions are in the right place, and challenge yourself on that to say, what are my intentions for my health? What are my intentions for my mental health? What are my intentions for my physical health? What are my intentions for my soul or spiritual health, right? And begin to write down those intentions. And every night say, my intentions are in the right place. I intend to eat right tomorrow when I awaken. Here's what my intentions are, right? And then reflect on that in the morning, because you have choices, right? Some choices are based on convenience. But if you think about it, you can get a banana probably as quickly as you could, especially if you need potassium, as you could those 2 sugary donuts, right? So it's about setting intentions. Are your intentions in the right place? Then a highly effective form of motivation is progress. So ask yourself, did I make any progress? And from our previous videos, we talked about small, quick wins. Okay, so you didn't change your entire diet in one day, but did you one day successfully make better choices about what you fed your body, mind, body, soul? Celebrate that. Okay, today I made some progress because I chose some good fibers instead of all of those starches, for example, right? Today doesn't have to be all or nothing, so I won't give up. Have you ever had that overwhelming sense that If I don't get everything done that's on the list, oh my God, it's Friday and I still have 20 things that I didn't do that I start out with Monday. Friday cannot now be your all or nothing day. It's not all or nothing. You got to make some decisions as to what you can accomplish and be okay that you can only accomplish so much instead of saying, well, if I can't get it all done, I give up. Right. And sometimes that happens. It's a trap that we get ourselves into. Well, I'm not going to get this done, so I'm not going to do anything. No, a great motivator is to see some progress. You did something since Monday, hopefully, and there's some progress come Friday. And then, and one of my favorites, I must admit, I won't go a day without gratefulness. You have to have gratefulness as a part of the consideration for every day. And that's why the Gratefulness Journey Every Day, which is now available also on Kobo, Kobo, and soon, hopefully, on a couple of other outlets for ebooks as well. I want to go to the chart that's listed. It's a chart that talks about, it's a small chart. You can see it here. I'm trying to make sure you can see it there. Okay. It's a small chart that talks about failure, gain, blessing, and lesson. And I share from the book about an event that I had. I had an opportunity many years ago, feels like about almost 20 years ago now. And part of the work that I have done that is more music and I guess fine arts related in the ecumenical space in churches. We had this big opportunity and contract to go to a pretty large church in Ohio to put on a production that we had done on a smaller scale across many cities in the Midwest and a few other places. But we put it on a large scale and took production staff and you know, everybody, everything for this production. And it was a production around Halloween, which is a sensitive holiday for Christians, but we wanted to do something that kind of countered the Halloween theme. And they were excited to have us there. And one of the things that got lost in the finer details was really the experience, maturity of their teens, because this was a youth production. And their teens weren't the typical 13 to 18 that maybe you might think. And so some of the themes of the various scenes in this production were a little bit mature for their teens. And so parents were upset. And it felt like it was a complete failure. I mean, it was hundreds of young people, maybe thousands, I don't know, hundreds at least. And the detail we had missed was ensuring that the content was age appropriate, though there were older teens that were able to get it. And there was a segment that was for children, but just some of the logistics allowed for some of the younger children that were 12 to 14 to see some of the scenes that they were too old for the kind of puppet kind of stuff that, you know, was planned, but too young really for some of the more teenaged themes. And so they were, you know, it was a tough thing and it felt like a failure. So I read from the book about that and how this chart is a way that you can start. You can use this chart for your habits. Okay. So I lost this significant contract with a church that had hired me to provide productions for its youth. It felt like my heart was about to beat out of my chest, all right. I could hardly breathe, thinking about the ramifications that could follow. I was thinking they're going to sue us. I made poor programming decisions and did not get clarity on the target audience because it was a broad audience and we thought we had segmented it off, but there was that 12 to 14 age that kind of got caught betwixt. The gain, I thought, was, although I lost the client and was quite embarrassed, I gained valuable insight into how to utilize design thinking to ensure that the programming decisions and the target audience were well thought out in advance of the production, right? So I've been used to really having more segmented in the audience, and this time I had a broader audience, and so I had to consider that. The blessing, I thought, was having the experience, not the outcome. That was a blessing. The fact that I secured the contract was a strong likelihood that I could book another one with the appropriate adjustments. Okay, so I didn't take out of that. There was a blessing that I was able to do it and able to present it, though I missed a key part of the audience. The lesson is that there is life after failure. And if you can acquire the new skills needed to address old challenges, then you may be on to a successful next opportunity. So I want you to use that. Of course, I want you to buy the book. The Gratefulness Journey every day is available on Amazon in paperback and in ebook. It is a short read. It's just about 70 pages. But I want you to go to that section because you can use it for habits, right? Any habit that does not bring you the outcome you want. Because remember, no habit that you have, every habit you have, better said, serves you well. Now, even if it's smoking a cigarette, that's smoking a cigarette, which I don't necessarily say that that's a good habit, but smoking a cigarette does something for you. It serves you well or you wouldn't do it. We don't keep habits that don't serve us well, even if in the end they do more damage to us. We derive some pleasure out of those habits, right? But you know which habits aren't moving your life forward and, most importantly, are not feeding your mind, body, and soul in the way in which you should for self-care, right? So think about the habit that you would consider is somewhat like a failure, okay? Think of that habit that you would consider that isn't the best. And I see someone on Facebook, Magdalene, though I haven't met Dr. Zile, but I have been hearing and seeing his wonderful deeds on people's lives. This made me contact him because I was diagnosed without his time. He started miraculous work in my life. Okay, I see some great comments overall, I think. Okay, some people joining us from various areas and sharing various information. So you can start with that habit. For me, that I share with Jaquan, the habit is eating that one meal, right? Now, again, you want to set your intentions, right? I got to set an intention to say, I intend to do my body well today or tomorrow, right? If I haven't done it well today, all right? And the failure has been that I haven't done my body well. And you got to own your failures, which are hard for us as humans. Own your failure, whatever that failure was. Maybe your temperament. You have failed at being even-tempered. I've had that failure before. Even-tempered through situations, right? And so accept that failure. I failed at being even-tempered when I am diametrically opposed to someone else's position. Okay, let's say that's the failure. It's one that many of us have had, even if it's a bit of road rage, even if it's with customer service, even if it's with a colleague, some place you could have handled your temper better. Okay, so let's call that the failure. And we have done that over enough, again, that it is a habit. Okay, so I want you to choose something that's not quite a one-off, but it's been something that you have to work on, right? So you first set your intentions. I will do my mental space better. I intend well for my mind. And I know stress is called to my mind, body and soul, really, but to my mind when I am not able to control my temper. That's setting the intention. My failure has been not to control the temper. Okay? Now, what do you gain? What do you gain out of recognizing that failure? What do you gain? Do you gain a lesson? Do you gain some data that you collect to say, I always lose my temper when I think I know the answer or when I think I'm right? That is actually a gain. Not that you lost your temper, but you're gaining information about this habit. Count that as a gain. What are you gaining? What are you gaining from that? You're gaining information. Maybe you're gaining perspective, right? You start to see every time I lose my temper, this is present, right? Okay. And maybe in that, the blessing is that you're awakened to what it does to the other people that are involved. Are you leaving a trail of bodies? Right? And the lesson then is that you can show up in a different way when you're angry than you intend to. Okay? But if we go back to the body and use that same example for the body, right? I intend to eat more than one meal a day and make it the biggest meal of the day, right? My failure has been that I eat one meal a day and it's the biggest meal, right? What do I gain? Would you sit in that for a second? What do you gain? What do you gain? Because that's the consideration that you have to give to this whole changing the habit so that your self-care is impacted. What do you gain? And I know somebody's thinking, wait, maybe you gain weight, but what do you gain from the failure? I would suggest to you what you gain is the awakening that there are options. That in some regard, we choose to fail. This is leading to the lesson. But in some regards, we choose to fail when we are awakened to our options and we don't set intentions about habits that we say we no longer want. Okay? The blessing in it is that you have an opportunity to now make some adjustments, right? And that's a blessing because it could be that you're awakened to some chronic condition, you're awakened to something, and that's typically gets us moving, right? But how much better would it be if you're awakened to that before you're awakened to the choice before? And choice is a blessing, right? Being awakened to another chance is a blessing. The grace to try it again. And really, altogether, that's the lesson that you can choose to do something different if you set intentions about it. You accept the failure of it, knowing that you're awakened to the possibility of a different outcome. That's really the beauty of that lesson, that I have the power to change our habits. And one of the great tools, or two of the great tools rather, is our intention to change it and our awakening to our power to change it. You and I can choose to move from failure to gain to blessings to lessons. And if you set in your day, just 4 times in your day, some reflection time around those things. What have I failed to do in self-care today? Okay? What did I gain? What am I awakened to? Is there any blessing in that? How can I move that gain to a blessing? How can I get into what I've gained and recognize the blessing in it? And then what's the lesson that I can try again tomorrow and apply? And if you set time in your day for points of reflection, whether you are a leader, you have to set time. You know, we have these back to back meetings that we schedule, we're zoomed for 12 hours. And we forget to set those 15 minutes between I say 30 minutes between so that you can reflect. Okay, now what did I fail at in this last meeting that's showing up in my day? What part of my self-care is showing up? Am I so sleep deprived today that I can't really hear anybody? Did I show up as agitated in that meeting? Was I distracted by my phone in that meeting? Was I able to bring my full self to that meeting? And you'll find that there's a connection of that sleep deprivation or sleep or insomnia to how you show up in meetings. And that's indicative of a habit. Now, I've seen on Shark Tank, Robert on Shark Tank says, I get 3 to 4 hours of sleep. And he kind of said it boastfully. And, no true shade to him. I don't know if 3 or 4 hours would do for me, but I think there are some disadvantages to having just a little bit of sleep, right? And so you put reflections throughout your day to see, okay, how am I on track for the intentions that I set for today? Okay, I got all these back-to-back meetings. Did I put in time for lunch? Did I put in an hour for lunch and 10 minutes for walk? Did I put 30 minutes for lunch? And what does that mean? I get to eat during that time. Because 30 minutes with a double Whopper with cheese, no pickles, no onions, heavy mayo cut in half, fries, and a Coke might get gobbled down in 30 minutes, where something else that you might have some salmon on a salad with a light vinaigrette dressing, you might be able to ration that differently, and it might digest differently. It might power your energy and your thoughts differently, right? So have I set intentions about the time that I'm going to build into my day for self-care? And am I sharing that information with my team and my staff and others so that it is a contagion for them to start to be thoughtful about how we create an environment of gratitude? We create an environment of self-care so that we're able to, the moments we come together and the moments that we do work, that we bring out outcomes that are meaningful and impactful. So that's just around the meal. You could do it around everything. If you have an uneven temper that you want to deal with, and it's a habit, you start to set intentions about it. I will not blow up when things don't go my way. I will not raise my voice when I am giving a counter opinion. I will not cut others off, even if I don't think that their ideas are the most smart. All voices are valued in our conversations, right? That takes some work. It takes some reflection. It takes setting your intention. And there will be times that you will fail. And you have to be okay. And people have to be okay with people being human, where you fail and you say, you know what? I probably shouldn't have yelled there. I don't know what, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to go back and evaluate that. But I apologize, because it could have landed as strong or aggressive or whatever, however you want to characterize it. I apologize for that. And then go back and look at that failure and say, okay, now what is this a sign of? Is this speaking to the intention I set this morning? I didn't set an intention this morning. Okay, so what can I gain from this? Must gain from this something. Yeah, I might gain from it. I have to be more thoughtful when I know I haven't set an intention, how I interact with others. And the blessing of that is now I'm awakened that here's another example that I have the power, even if I hadn't set the intention, to be awakened to it. And the lesson is set the intention, right? Set the intention that I know this is a habit that I want to change. Again, mind, body, or soul. It's a habit that I want to rid myself of, right? It's a habit that I want to overcome, right? It serves me well in that when I'm upset, I blow off the steam, right? But it doesn't serve my life well, where it makes it difficult for me to interact with other people who it might land on them as too much steam, right? Or it might land on them in other ways, right? It's not the most productive, right? And it doesn't reflect who I am or am becoming authentically, which is a more grateful person and human, right? And so you have to make sure that you have set intentions for your own self-care, mind, body, and soul. And there are times that you will fail in your attempts to overcome habits that you no longer want to use to live your life because it's your choice. But you have to be thoughtful about how you move from this habit that you don't feel serves you as well as the habit that you want to replace it with, and that you have the choice to move out of that habit into a new and more freeing existence. I'm so grateful and thankful that you have joined us, and I hope that you will share this content. I am thankful that Jaquan joined us today for a brief moment, and we may have him back to talk more about those 3 tips about addressing those habits, dressing your neat, right? Getting more movement in during the day, even where you can't exercise. And then once you do those and kind of done those for some time, then identify a fitness partner or fitness trainer or fitness coach. But there are many things you can do on your own with your own intention setting. So again, one of mine that we identified is eating. I am a foodie. I'm thinking about food right now. I love food. And I have to be careful because diabetes runs in my family, hypertension runs in my family. Both have had an impact on my wellness. And so I'm very careful, or I try to be very careful, but I'm a foodie. I love pastas. I love pizza. I would say I love fried foods, but that just isn't true. I don't eat as much fried food as I used to at all. I mean, maybe I may have a fried piece of chicken a month, but I certainly have pizza, and I can certainly eat an entire pizza myself. I am a foodie. And being busy, having 11 jobs, as they say, the HR passion guy and the love and stuff guy and human resources professional, music director, you name it. It keeps you in a busy schedule. If you're like me, you have a lot of different things with which you're involved. You have families and children and spouses. You have parents that you're caregiving for. You have neighbors that you're helping up with. You have volunteerism that you participate in. You have church work and civic work that you participate in, right? And all of these things make for the busyness of life. What are you doing for you? What are you doing to empower yourself to show up as the most authentic, wonderfully powerful, awesome human that you are? We are great at caring for others in many regards. We're great for making sure elderly parents take their medicine or take the walks that they need for exercise. We're great at cooking that meal for our spouse that he or she loves as a favorite meal, and making the lunches just so right for our kids if they take lunches anymore, or packing their book bag or helping them with homework. We're great at helping out, volunteering, and passing out food baskets and clothing. And we're great at helping to be mentors to others and even read stories and reading programs and coach football and basketball and soccer and help everybody be all that they can be. Now, what about you? What about us as individuals saying, what is the nourishment that my mind, body, and soul needs that's for me. And not self-serving that it's only for you, because if you know, well, as I think you probably do, when you nourish your mind, body, and soul, it is a wealth spring of life to others. You can serve more, give more, and do it with clarity, conviction, and power. But what is the plan to serve you? To honor and serve yourself well, so that you are setting intentions about what you ingest, mind, body, and soul. That's the premise of self-care that I think is so important, and that I think goes neglected because we just keep going. We keep following the responsibility without accountability for how we show up. Battered and torn soldiers on a war field instead of recharged and refueled soldiers serving to bring healing, hope, and victory to others. It's 12:47 and I am excited. I'm Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy. I'm excited to be here, and hopefully I will be able to share with you. I'm going to see if I can share the video, small video clip that Jaquan did with us, or shared with us earlier. Hopefully I can do the small video clip and share my screen so that you can watch the small video clip from Jaquan about these 3 tips. And that way we will have it.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he was telling me, man, how do I improve my nutrition? How do I get
Okay, hold on one second.
in ideal shape? Because I work a super busy.
All right. Give me 1 second. I think we have it. We'll share our screen. Okay.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he was telling me, man, how do I improve my nutrition? How do I get in ideal shape? Because I work a super busy job, and I don't have the time to wait.
Excellent. And so now it's captured, memorialized, and you can go to his page on LinkedIn. I believe that video there, and on YouTube. You can also follow him there for any information about quick tips about your fitness, how you nourish your body, how you care for your body is important. And it is directly connected to how you show up in this world, being your authentic, wonderfully powerful, and awesome self. And I hope that as we move forward in mental health awareness and move forward in physical health awareness and in spiritual health awareness, that you will take these components to your self-care along with the gratefulness journey every day and the chart on failures, gains, blessings, and lessons to help you create the kind of habits that are going to power and strengthen your life. I hope that you will share this content, whether you are on LinkedIn Live, IG Live, Twitch TV, YouTube events, Facebook on the Marcus R. Holmes page, or in the Love and Stuff community. You can power your self-care. Why not start today? Click share now and tag 5 of your closest friends, connections, or followers, 5 of your more important friends, connections, or followers, and share this content with them. Have a grateful day and weekend. And just in the way of announcement, thank you very much. Sports Talk tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Kamal and Felix on the Love and Stuff page and the Sports Talk page on Facebook. Join there if you're a sports head and you want to start talking about these playoffs that are happening in the NBA and things that are going to happen. These 2 sports heads, Kamal Williams and Felix Holmes, are excited about sports, and you can catch the contagion by joining them tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be good to yourselves and have a grateful day.